Hey guys, this is E Scrapbooking with me, and this is what we're going to do today, and this is for the March challenge, and it's ES. Let me write that down. I don't know where my paper went that had it written on. Okay, so that is the hashtag E's March challenge, so you can join us in that, and this is what we're going to make today. All this is magazine pages. I just took an old magazine and I tore out some pages and then I just cut them in half, and this is what we're going to make the pocket and the tag out of. Now, I'm not covering the back because I plan on gluing this down to the page, to the journal page. So, and then I made a pocket. I made a tag out of the cover. Now, I know it has that on it. I didn't cover all this because I thought that was pretty, and I'm just going to put something there, maybe another flower or something there to cover that up. And then I just covered the back with some ink dyed paper. All right, so that's what we're going to make. So I'm going to see if you guys can. I know you can come up with these. I don't even have to think about it. And just use an old magazine of any kind. It doesn't have to be any particular kind, just whatever you have laying around. Now I fold it about halfway, maybe. No, a little bit over halfway, I guess. And then depending on how wide you want your pockets, I usually fold mine about right there, I think. Let's see if this one's a little bit wider than the other one. A little bit narrower. So we can back it off a little bit. And if you want to measure, you can measure. I'm not going to measure. I'm not. There we go. So let's see. That is 1, 2, 3 and a half. That's 3.5 inches. And that's plenty wide enough for me. Now, if you want yours wider or narrower, that's up to you. You can just fold this however you want. Now, my magazine, the pages in it, I don't know how, I didn't measure them before I cut, but let's see. That's 5.5, so it'd be 11. And that's 8, so 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11, and then I cut off the rough edge. All right, so you're going to do that like that. Then you're just going to take a little bit of that bottom and fold it up. Just a little, depending on how tall you want your pockets. Just going to fold up about like that. And then we're just going to cut each little corner off. Now, I have seen Rachel make some like this, not out of this type, not out of a magazine page, but she has made some similar to this as far as folding. So the folding and all that you've probably seen before. We're just going to do it out of magazine pages. You know, I told you that we're going to use whatever we might have in our stash to make these, so that's what we're going to do. And this is going to make beautiful pockets for your journal. Now, I just glued that part over. Just like that. And I got a little crazy with my glue there. There we go. And then on this part, you're just going to glue that up to make it the little pocket like that. And I always use my bone folder because I like to have those edges crisp. Like that. Okay. Then this is going to be the back where you've got all your seams, and this is going to be the front. Now that didn't look too bad, does it? But I want to cover it. I want to cover it up. So I have got some paper here. This paper is what we're going to include in the AJ kit. But I thought I would use some of this. We had a little bit extra left. So I thought I would use some of this to put on the fronts of these tags because they're botanical and it goes really well with the journals that I like to make. So I'm putting my glue on here and right up to the edges. I probably will stitch, but not right now. So I'm just going to put my glue right up to the edge. Then you just want to make sure that your paper is covering all of that up. If I have any of this paper left over, I will put it up on in the shop. But we're going to wait till everybody receives their kits before we do anything with it, because I don't want to accidentally forget about somebody on a sheet or something and then we've got them all sold. So we always wait till everything is received and make sure that everybody's got all of their goodies before we put anything up on the site. But I feel like we're going to have plenty left. And then I'm just cutting off the excess paper. You can measure and cut your paper exactly the size that you need for this and then just glue it down. But to me, it's just about as good to do that right there. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to punch a little pull at the top. And I'm going to punch it all the way through because you don't want the inside of that magazine showing. So just punch it all the way through. Then we're going to put a little ink on here. Cover up where we cut that paper, and if we cut it crooked, which I probably did, we'll cover all that up. So there's your little pocket already made. Oops. That. And then we're going to make a tag to go down in there, and I'm using the front cover of the magazine. So that's what I'm making my tag with. So what I'm going to do is, here I am going to measure because I want to cut my tag the right size. That is, let's see, we need our tag about 3 1/4, and I need it about 4 3/4. So 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Now I'm just going to cut this edge off right here because it's where I tore it out. Okay, 3 1/4 right there. And then 4 3/4 right there. So there's a tag. Let's make sure that it fits before we go any further with it. Okay, it's a little bit tall. I'd like for it to go flush and then I can put my little pull on there. So I'm going to trim a little bit of this off at the top. See if that works. Yeah, and then we can still put our little pull tab on there, and that will work great. Now, that doesn't look too bad to me. I'll probably leave that and then just cover this with something. I don't mind that at all. Not at all. But I am going to cover the back because so we need writing room. And this is just some of the paper that we dyed the other day. Look at those cells in there. Isn't that pretty? We do ink dyeing. We don't dye with coffee or tea. We do ink dyeing around here. It's just what I've always done. I like it because it doesn't have a smell. And we don't really drink a lot of tea, so don't usually have tea on hand. And my coffee, I drink lots of coffee, but I like to keep that coffee. I don't like to put it on paper. So let's see. I think I'm going to use this side. Just going to glue that down right there. Like that. And if you buy, you know, the cheaper inks, it doesn't take very much ink at all. Especially if it's real pigmented. It doesn't take very much ink at all to dye a whole ton of papers. I think we dyed over 2,000. And I didn't even use a whole bottle of ink. So, it doesn't take much at all. And I've got videos in my ink dyeing process that shows exactly how I do that. So if you want to check those out, you're welcome to. It's in my playlist. And I'm just going to trim a little bit on the corners. Like that. And I'm going to go ahead and ink this. Even though, like I said, I'm probably going to cover this with something, but I'm just going to go ahead and ink the edges right now. Then I'm going to use my punch. I'm going to punch out something. Let's see. Let's just punch out a piece of this. This goes pretty well with the theme that we're going for. And this is just a botanical paper. I think, as a matter of fact, it's some of that, let me think a minute. My mind's blank. I'll think of it in a minute, and I'll link it below if I can remember it. I don't know if we have any more of it or not. I'll have to look. Oh, this is Forest Tea Party. That's what this is. I'm not sure if we have any more. Okay, put that little tag on there, and then we're going to slide that right down in there, and there you go. Got your little tag on there. Now on this one, I put an extra flower. I used one of those washi flowers, but on this one, it's got enough flowers that I won't need to. But we are going to include one of Tracy's numbers, because I think with that being botanical, to me it just calls for a number and not, or one of the number labels. It makes it, to me, it makes it look more like one of those little seed packets or something. Ooh, we could even call these little seed packet pockets. Seed packet pockets. Boy, that's a mouthful, is it not? I'm going to see what this one looks like on there. You guys would not believe the state of how I'm having to craft. This is a mess. Everything just about that I want to craft with is already packed up. And I'm having to craft with just a minimum amount of supplies. Oh well, that doesn't hurt me. Now let's see what that will look like on there. Might put it there. I might need a, no. I think I will use that one. I started to say I might need a green one, but whoops, sorry. Sorry about the noise. But I think the green will bring out a little bit too much because there's a ton of green in this one. So let's just put that one on there, right there. They don't always have to be at the top. So there is another. See, I like making these. You're using up something that normally I would probably throw this out, because I don't order from their magazines. They send me tons. And if the only magazine you have is one of those thin paper magazines, now this is not very thin paper, but if that's all you have is one of those thin paper magazines, just glue a couple of pages together to make it thicker. It doesn't matter. You can make it out of any magazine. You know, sometimes you get those little sale catalogs that are the paper's real thin in. You can still use those. Don't worry about it. Just cut it out and glue a couple of them together, or 3 of them together, every how many you think you might need, and it works. I have made pockets with those before too. Now we're going to fold up a little bit at the bottom. And so you could use your scraps to cover these with too. You wouldn't have to have a new sheet of paper. You can use all your scraps up. You could even collage on the front of them. Lots of different things you can do. Okay, I'm going to fold that one back so I can cut this one off. Just trim that one off like that. And then we're going to fold this up. And these come together so quick. I've got to find something that will get all of the glue off of my mat. It's getting pretty gluey. Whoops. And I am noisy today. I'm knocking everything around. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cover the front of this. I'm just going to lay this paper under it because I've got a lot of excess glue there. So let's try a different one. What about a piece of this? Oh, that's pretty too. Let's just cover it with that. This is just a scrap piece that I've had, and I've just been punching out my little tabs out of it. And when you're gluing this, if you're not going to stitch, just make sure you go all the way to the edge. You don't want your paper sticking up. Let's see, let's make sure we're putting this on the right way. I think I'm gonna, I folded this for something else that we were gonna do, and then I ended up not using this paper. So I think I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna cut this piece off, because that's the piece I've been cutting with. I want that pink flower on this one. So we're gonna do it like this. Oh yeah, that'll work. And see, even when you put your paper on the top too, it makes that nice and thick. So even if you have a thin paper, you're going to cover it with a paper, you know, a pattern paper or something. So it's going to make it nice and thick for you. There we go. That may be big enough for me to cut a tab out of, so I'm going to save it. I love that. That's pretty. All right. Ooh, that one was thick. And you can go ahead and decorate these up as much as you want. I usually just put a little bit of something on them, and then when I start putting them in my journal, I add more if I need to, instead of embellishing them all the way. And then when I start to put them in my journal, it's like, oh, I really didn't need all of that on there. I'd rather just put a few things on them, and then when I start to put them in my journal, I can always add different if I need to. Let's see if we got a little tag here that might go on there. Oh yeah, let's use that maybe. Let's see. I need to print more of these. These are Tracy Fox labels as well. This is her botanical labels, I think. This one says STEM, and it's got the definition for STEM on it. There we go. Well, can't pick anything up for knocking it over. Sometimes you just have to say, come on, hands, work. But you could put lace on these. Let's see. I might put that one over there. Just like that. So there is another. Oh, I'm having fun making these. Oh, I forgot to make my tag. I started to say, there's something missing. There is something missing. We didn't make our tag. Let's see. That one's not big enough. So we're going to have to use something a little bit larger. Let's see what size we've got here. I think 3 1/4 will work. By let's say 4 1/2 on this one. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. All right, now we know we want to cover this, at least the top, because I don't particularly care for that. So we could, let's see, could just tear a piece of this maybe. Let's see what this is going to look like. We may just end up putting something else on it, but this is just a little scrap that's laying there. I don't think that looks so bad. Put that right there. Cover that top. Okay. Oops. There we go. Now, let's trim this off. And we could put something else down there if we want. All right, I may wait. I'm not really thinking of anything to put down there right now, so I may just wait and put something down there after I get it covered and when I start to put it in my journal. Because I don't think that's pretty blended. I don't think it looks too bad. Let's see. Let's go ahead and cover the back. And then we can move on to the front and make sure that we get it inked and all of that. So how are you guys? I don't think I've asked you in the last few days. I forget to ask, and I'm sorry about that. It's been crazy, wild and crazy around here. Half the time I forget what my name is. All right, now let's put, I'm gonna grab my card and rub that down. These I didn't ink up. These I didn't iron or put a book over or anything. They're just straight from the drying pile. So they were a little bit wrinkled, but not too bad. All right. Now what are we going to put at the top for a pull? I know I keep going back to this paper, but I think it's pretty. Let's see if we have something already punched in here that we could use. Oh yeah, I think that one would be pretty. And I just, when I have scrap paper, I just punch as many of these as I can get. There we go. Right, let's put that in there. Ooh, there we go. It was a little piece glued. Now that fits perfectly. All right, we're moving right along. We're just gonna make probably 3 or 4 more, and then that'll be enough for the video. Just showing you different, I mean, they're all made basically the same way, but I'm just showing you different ways that we're covering it. And that one, I didn't even put any extra embellishments on because I don't think it needs it. And I hope this one's about as wide, and it is. Once you fold 2 or 3, you kind of get the hang of how wide you need to fold it. Oops. Did I slide that or not? I keep sliding it. Don't pull so hard. Okay. Now let's fold that up. So this may be a pretty short video because it doesn't take long at all to make these. Just clip those corners in an angle. I'm going to take this back one and fold it backward. And then we're just going to cut this off right here. Like that. And I don't cut too close because, you know me, I cut crooked. And I usually go and cut the end out of this one if I do. So you don't have to cut so close. So I want to see a variety of magazines used for this. And I want you to show me the magazine first before you start cutting. So take a picture of that magazine and let me see what you're making it out of. All right, let's go back to a piece of this. And I think we'll go over here on this side with this one. This is just an old Echo Park magazine that I get. I order from them. So they send me a magazine about every couple of months. And I always save them because I always use them for something. Ooh, pull that down. There we go. And yes, this magazine paper is shiny, but I've not had any problem with it sticking. That glue seems to stick really well on shiny paper. So now I don't know that a glue stick would do that. So I can't tell you to use a glue stick on it, but the Barely Arts glue will. I don't know about the art glitter glue. I've not used it on shiny paper, so I'm not sure, but it probably would too. I think they're made very similar. I think they've got basically the similar formulas. Similar. That's hard for me to say today. I think they have got the basic same formulas in them, I do believe. Wouldn't surprise me if they were the same company. Sometimes you think like that, don't you? 'Cause it's like, that looks just like that. Are they the same company? There we go. I don't think that they are. They're based completely out of different places and completely different people that I talk to, but they are very close to being the same glues. Okay. So there's another already made, and now we can put a little label on there. I don't think it needs any more flowers. So let's just put a label on it. Or we don't want to put a label. Let's see. Oh, that would be cute. Big umbel, because you've got all those flowers. You know there's a little bee there somewhere. And if I had a little bee, I would use it, but I don't even have a small little bee. That would be cute to have a little bee flying around there. So I want you to see how many variations you can come up with. You know, maybe some you're putting labels on, maybe some you're putting flowers on, maybe some you've got bees and you're going to put bees on there. Just show me a bunch of variations. Different papers, maybe you want a collage one, and just whatever will be great. I'm going to see all of them. Okay, let's cover. I think I got enough of this paper to cover the back of a tag. So let's make a tag right quick. I think I'm just going to make a tag out of this. This is a scrap piece, and it looks pretty good with that. So let's cut it at, let's cut it at 3 1/4, and then 4 1/2, because I think I've used up all of that, the front of that book page, or the front of that book, I should say. 3 1/4, and let's see, 4 1/2. Let's make sure it fits, and it does. Perfect. So then we're gonna, well, let's go ahead and cover the back, and then we'll cut those little pieces out. Let's see if this is gonna work. Oh, nope, it's not big enough that way. Oh, it is this way though. We'll use it that way. So we got quite a few tag covers or backings just out of this one sheet. We had a few that got torn, you know, when we were dyeing, because that always happens when you're using regular copy paper. And so I kept all of those. I said, don't throw them away, I'll keep them. I'll use it. All right. Now let's see, do we want to use, which side up do we want to use? I think I'll use this one. I think that's the top, hopefully. Yeah, we could call these seed packet pockets. Say that 20 times fast, because they look to me like little seed packets. Okay, now we need a pull to put it on this one. What shall we use? Let's see if I got anything else over here that I might want to just cut a little pull out of. Let's just use a little piece of this. Use that little edge right there. Pick up that purple flower. Ink all of that. And you could put a label or something on here too. Right now I think I'm just going to push it down in there, right there. Isn't that pretty? I like that one. All right, I think that's all that we're going to make. I mean, it's just repetitive, but you know, you can turn out lots and lots of these just in very short time, and they're fantastic for your journals. And this is just using a magazine, and I'll show you the magazine that we're using. We're using this Echo Park magazine, and we're making our pockets out of it, but any magazine will work. So whatever you have sitting around, just use it. It will work. All right, remember, this is challenge number 3 for the Ease March challenge. So make sure if you do these that you put this hashtag ES March challenge on there so that you can be entered. We are giving away $50 gift card to our store, and that will be, we will give that away in April because we're going to wait till all the entries are in. So, but you cannot be entered unless you use that hashtag. And it is only for the videos that I do that say this is the March challenge. So don't use your hashtags on other things that you do. I mean, you're welcome to do anything that I do, but please don't use the hashtags on those. This will be the 3rd one that we have done. All right, guys, we will talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to all of you who are participating in this. I'm enjoying seeing everything that you're doing. All right, we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.